want freedom. I want to be able to do whatever the fuck I want. And then once even something successful starts feeling like a job or you feel trapped by it, some of the like magic is gone, and that's all psychological shit. You know, that's all like.
But it's
you know,
I mean, like I don't think you can fight it. It is psychological, but I don't think there's anybody who still has the magic. You know?
But then it's like, and then you go through all. I mean, these, you know, then you go through the other thing of it where it's like, well, it's still a fucking good job. But it's like,
then you get the people
time,
calling up being like, you know, you want to switch with me? I'm working at the factory 80 hours a week.
No.
It's like, no, I didn't say that. Let's not be crazy.
I
don't want to be the canary, but
I don't want to lose my fingers in a meat grinder or anything. But I do also think that every job has its own like burdens where it's like I used to love being able to go to work hungover and just stare at a screen and be like, I'm not doing anything today. Whereas this is like, you know, you do that, you lose your audience.
I was the king of skating by. Yeah. Like I was so good at that. Yep. I worked at a law firm, and this is one of my jobs before I moved to New York because I needed to save up money. Was I was a paralegal, and I didn't know what the law firm was, and it was like this trashy like Baltimore like fucking suburb fucking office. And I realized pretty quickly that it was a foreclosure law firm, and they were taking people's houses. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, this is after the housing crisis, which is like people were tricked into selling. You know, I
did. I was working directly with collateralized loans and all that shit. I was like 6 months into working, I've seen on CNBC like collateralized debt is the problem. I was like, oh, fuck. That's
Yikes.
what I do.
And
I do poorly.
No, that checks out. Big
time.
You know, I got there and I was like, well, I don't want to fucking work for these people, and I was like, well, I'll just like stop working, and like I'm sure they'll fire me in like 3 or 4 weeks, whatever, by the time they figure it out. And I was just like, in the meantime, I'm gonna go on 2-hour lunches. I'm gonna be the fuck, you know, the life of the office. I'm just shooting the shit. Everyone loved me because I'm not doing work.
It's office space.
I'm going around.
You're the joke guy. You're the cool guy.
And it took them literally like 6 months to fire me. And I just
literally you're not doing anything.
I was not doing. This is when I was starting stand up. Like I was pretty early on in my career. I was like doing open mics. I'm just writing shit. My boss would come by. I would hit the like mouse to get the screensaver, but I wasn't logged in, so it would just be like, oh, my boss come in. It would just be like the login screen. Like I was literally playing like on my cell phone. It was like I didn't have an office. I had cubicles out in the open. It was so completely disrespectful. I was begging to get fired, and they just wouldn't do it. And honestly, there is part of me that's like, it would be fun to see what scams I'd be capable of.
Oh yeah,
if I feel work. You know?
I scare myself sometimes with just like casual lying and the ability to like, you know, deceive and it's like like that's when you really put your laziness to the test. You know what I realized is like, you know, especially if you work for a bigger place, they gotta have all their ducks in a row before they fire somebody.
That's what happened.
So I did the same thing. I was begging them to fire me. They were like, hey, how about we transfer you to another department where you'll thrive better? And I was like, no, because I had Barstool kind of lined up. And they're like, what do you mean no? And I was like, I'm good. And they're like, that means we're going to fire you. I was like, but then I started thinking about all of the people who got fired before me. And I was like, boy, you guys must have really sucked. Well, because they're trying to fire me and they can't. Yeah. And you got the boot immediately.
Well, it's because like there's a certain kind of like what does not get, like someone working too hard is a bigger mistake than someone not working hard enough in a corporate environment.
Nobody respects you. Everybody takes advantage of you.
And the bosses are worried you're going to make them look bad. And the people that you're like, well, their boss will see. Their boss doesn't give a fuck. Their boss is trying to figure out how to fuck embezzle money.
Yeah.
They don't fucking
rich guy shit.
Which literally happened at that law firm, by the way. I think one of the partners literally blew brains out because they got caught. They got caught just stealing from the firm. It was such a fucking mess.
Dude, what a lame way to kill yourself. Like,
brain out?
No,
because of embezzlement.
Like you got caught stealing from a firm. Like, was it a major firm?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure. I feel like he was probably these guys. Like I said, these guys were. They're just like, it was a joke of a. They didn't even know how to be white collar criminal. Like you're not even going to real jail, dude.
Right?
No, like you're not.
Go hang out for a couple months and come home. Don't kill yourself. Christ Almighty.
But anyway, it was just like that was a fun. That was a hilarious time in my life. I did love, and that's the other thing is like when, and then I'm sure, you know, when like starting Barstool and all this shit was your passion, it's like that's an exciting time. Right? Like that's how I felt too at that time.
That's the worst thing about it is that like I know for a fact. That is probably what if we unpack more stuff. Depression.
Yeah, I love it.
Like I'll never be as happy as I was.
That you're chasing the high. You're chasing the dragon.
I think it was $500 a month when we started. Like
I love
it was fucking And you know, at the time, I was happy, but I wasn't.
You didn't realize. You never know during the good times that it's the good times.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's the same way. Like my last year in Baltimore is probably the happiest year of my life so far because it was like. I was like, you know, you're the best comic in a small city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Big
like
fish, small pond. Awesome.
Big fish, small pond. It was the first time in my life I was getting put because I believed in myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had a college girlfriend, and that's the only person I had fucked. And then I live in Baltimore, and then I'm just going hard, working, saving up, living at home, and then I move in with my buddies, and it's like I'm finally getting sucked off. You know what I mean? and it's like
from your buddies.
They were yeah. We were just like it was such a bro household. It was. It was just, and I worked at a paint store making $10 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was just fucking great. It was a great time, and I like just hungover, always going to work like feeling like shit. All I cared about was comedy, and it was just fun. It was just, and again, I was so poor I would eat like eggs and beans. Like that was my go-to meal. Was like I would bake the eggs and beans. Yeah, and I would bake them.
That's fucking Danny DeVito. That's Charlie and Frank on site right there.
And I would just make literally pans of it and just like eat eggs and beans because it was like the cheapest
what's
shit
worse,
to have.
Eggs and beans or
I would do tomato soup and I would melt cheese in it to make it a little
slice
thicker.
of Kraft single.
Yeah. That's like a deconstructed tomato soup and grilled cheese situation.
Right.
Yeah. Couldn't afford the bread. Low carb.
That shit is like, but you know, if someone's listening to this right now and they're in that, they're the ones going like, I can barely make my rent, dude. I'm grinding. I'm struggling.
I guess I did feel really. That's the other thing.
You were happy.
At the time, I was like, this rocks.
Yeah.
I just assumed it would just be like
go forever.
Like you would get happier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
And that's like oh no. Like I'm not. Everything sucks.
I figured that every
life sucks.
Like,
people you love will start dying.
Yeah.
Every woman you've ever loved will be with another man who treats her better.
Who doesn't have the issues you have.
Yeah. You're gonna figure out every mistake you've made 7 years too late. Like it's like, and now it's like, you know, figure it out.
I feel like half the reason I do the podcast is to be like Billy Madison, where I'm like, don't do it. I tell him like work does suck. That's not like a cliche. Moving in and trying to get married is fucking hard. Buying a house and going to the burbs fucking sucks. These are not weird. I'm saying it for a reason. And then everybody just does it. The amount of people I have come up to me and go like, man, I'm like 10 years younger than you. I started listening to you and like I thought like that was a joke and I thought this was fake and I thought that you were exaggerating. And then I did it and it was real. I was like, I'm trying to fucking tell you.
No, just life sucks.
Life is hard.
Shit is real, man. Life is fucking hard.
But you know, whatever. It's like it's like figuring out your basic problems helps so much. And then it's like, and now I feel like, I don't know how you guys feel, but it's like, you know, shit was, and also I think everyone's life was horrible. This has been such a weird stretch for everyone.